You're listening to the joint sermons on the Push Media Podcast Network.
What you sound like right there is a white person who could speak Spanish.
Well,
Let me show you how technical I am. Don't shut up. Shut up.
I mean, technically,
what I was
white guy
having
that
fun
speaks
with is when you have like that, like a racist person. Okay, Jose, El go bye bye oh. You know what I mean? When they it was like, what's with the O's at the end? Every like, we have a taco and a burrito. That's where that comes from, I believe. You know, hi, Mo Milano. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, no, I know exactly what you're talking about, but
And I say this as a proud Mexican who can't stand the white people that had to mow my lawn this year. Dude, if that was a haircut, in the hood, if they were at a black barbershop with that, they'd get beat up because the lines weren't lined up. The fade wasn't nice. They would have got beat up. Nothing's happening. This is the worst. I drove my forklift tractor over your lawn, and it did cut the lawn. It is now shorter. That is not the same thing. I can cut your hair. I could cut your hair. It's going to look horrible, but your hair is cut. You know, they need to learn how to push the Elon mower. Oh, I can't stand it. And they come and go so fast. And then one looks like he's a tweaker. No doubt, if you're a white guy in your 50s mowing lawns professionally with thick NFL pigskin hide, you're a tweaker, right?
Probably. Did he show up with two kids' mountain bikes, like riding one and pulling the other one?
No, he had a Tacoma. But this is not Santa Cruz, so I do not excuse your suntan. You go to Santa Cruz, and that's where you see the weathered people.
Yeah.
Their faces all weathered, and they don't look like they were at sea. They look like they were riding the waves. You know what I mean? There's a different type of tan. How does that happen? How does the fisherman have a different tan than the surfer versus the guy who boats?
I'm just assuming the reflection off the water and the fact that surfers aren't out there as much as the fishermen. You know what? Listen, you ask questions.
What do you add? The reflection of the water. This is my chance to prove I'm not El Retardo. I'm just saying. But I'm just saying, every time with you, I gotta prove myself.
Wait, you ask a question. I gave a response. That's how it works.
Gave a response. Well, maybe. I'm not interested in most responses to whatever comments I make on Twitter, on here, in general.
Well, you signed the contract, bud, so.
People are, again, you keep bringing up the contract, Karen.
Yeah. Hey, you know. You're the one that sent it, so now you got to deal with it.
We're a professional outfit over here, so I don't know what you want.
We are extremely El Professional.
Speaking of being professionals.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm going to tell you that pinko communist cell phone service called T-Mobile.
Oh, here we go.
Well, yeah, it's pink.
Yeah, no,
but,
go ahead.
So,
get it.
AT&T, who I've had for 16 years, keeps increasing the price. And I'm like, okay, that's enough. Let me see what the other networks are about. So I tried their free test drive, the T-Mobile. First of all, it immediately sucked. I could not get a signal. I could not get data. And then at one point I did get data, but it was like, half a megabyte. And I'm like, what? Like, it was weird. Modern phone, modern city, blanket coverage everywhere. What are we doing? Okay, this ain't for me. No big deal. Cancel. We can't cancel this for you. What? I can't even delete the eSIM. It keeps popping back up. I'm like, nah, off my phone. Call customer service, talk to several people. None of them can help me. They're all rude about it as well. Well, give us your PIN. I don't have a PIN. I don't have an account. When you sign up for this test drive, it does not require you to give an account. It just says, we're going to dump this eSIM on your phone. It's temporary, and when it expires, it's gone. Out of luck for you. So if you want that number, you have to start a plan with us before that number goes away. Okay, fair enough. But they can't remove it. Got to go into the store. Seen this very professional looking fella. I'll be right with you, sir. And I'm like, okay. And then what happens is, okay, sir, can I help you now? I walk up, explain the situation. Oh, I'm afraid I'm going to need your PIN number. Okay, it's a test drive. It doesn't even ask my phone number, my name, my address. It doesn't, nothing. I don't have nothing. Well, log into your account. Whew. Okay, hold on. You must have been a lawnmower guy in the white neighborhoods for a while. No, I don't have an account. Well, you can't, I'm afraid there's nothing I can do. Okay, well, I'm starting to be like, this is dumb. If I could just delete the eSIM, I'd delete it, but it pops right back up. So I'm like, this is like a curse. Then here comes this, girl that I described to you as, it looked like Jada Pinkett Smith when she was trying to flex on Tupac when he was alive, right? Like all hip hopped out and talking wild and round the way girl, perfect, right?
Hey, there you
She
go.
walks in, but I didn't know she worked there or anything. She just walks in. She's got all the slang and the jewelry on and everything. It's perfect. Yo, can I help you? Yeah, boom, boom, boom. This is what happened. Yeah, I got you. Boom, done, done instantaneously. And I'm like, I said, are you the manager here? Oh, no, he is. I'm like, he couldn't do it. Yeah, I know he can't do a lot of things. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, can I get a receipt? Thank you so much. Can I get a receipt? Well, you're not going to get a receipt because it's going to email it to you, but you don't have an account because you got a test drive. That's one of the things it just cancels. But here, flips her iPad around. Go ahead and take a picture of it in case them busters say anything. And I'm like, get out of here.
First of all, you should have tipped her just for saying busters. That
well, the
is
manager
tremendous.
goes, we can't let people take photographs of our internal systems. First of all, there is no secret on there. It has the fake number they gave me and it says cancel
Right.
and the date and time. I took a picture of it. She's like, psh, like that to him. And I was like, this is like just great. And so anyway, the guy behind me, I'm leaving. All right, thank you so much, man. All right. Then she daps me up. Right. And I'm like, if I was switching to T-Mobile, that'd be my connect. I do not care.
Absolutely.
It would be her. So as I'm walking out, the guy behind me walks up and she goes, what you need? I'm like, the thing is, that's funny, but you're going to walk out satisfied because she's going to hook whatever up you need. She knew what she was doing.
Like
she knew tech.
Clearly, she was the one that runs that store, even if the manager was there. That's why she walked in like it's whatever, because you know that she knows everything that he doesn't because he probably got promoted for like kissing the ring or some
you should
stuff
say,
like that.
He looks and sounds like this, and I look like a proper businessman.
Weak.
That's all. But what got me is I was there minutes before it opened. So, she was late. I can tell you she was. She didn't care.
Of course she didn't. Neither did he because she was the one that makes everything run at that store. She could do whatever she wants.
He was probably silently happy she did that. I'm dead serious because I was getting upset. And first of all, it was weird too because he's, one of those white guys who are like, oh, okay, I don't want any problem. No one's giving you a problem. Relax, pal. No, stop it. Do you think you're getting beat up or something? What are you doing? Knock it off. Grow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was getting annoyed, but I'm not grabbing your throat. Would you literally grow up?
Yeah.
Or you're racist.
Some of those managers in general are just like that because they're so like not even shell shocked, but or they're just like the corporate overlords are like, oh, you can't do anything to upset the customer. The customer is always right. It's like,
I understand the principle of, let's just, let's treat our customers good and they're fine. Let's fix it and get it done.
But there
let's
is a red line.
There is a point where you're like, you are not right. And that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not. I know someone who works at a grocery store and runs a department where you can do special orders and different things. And they have cutoffs for holidays and these big, I don't know, meals and trays and stuff they make. And sure enough, there's always someone who calls, 12 hours after the deadline. Can I have this for tonight? No. Because at one point,
why would you?
It's what I'm saying. At one point, if I'm the baker and you want me to bake you a cake, I have to say, I can bake you the cake, but I need 14 hours to do so. And now I don't have 14 hours, so I can't bake a cake. So I know.
Yeah.
Things take time, right?
Yeah. And people just have they have no frame of reference for not just being a total jerk to people that work in any kind of industry like that. So it doesn't surprise me. I mean, when I used to work for the State Liquor Control Board in PA, like I would tell people licensees, don't put in your order 10 minutes to 9 because I'm not going to be able to pull 400 bottles. It's me and one other person. And there was a guy, Tony D'Imperio. I don't even know if he's still alive anymore. This dude would pull this and he had 3 restaurants and he would show up with his own truck because that's what they had to do. And finally, my manager just cussed him out one night. And I had to literally separate the two. And I was like, all right, just back to your corners. We're not going to do this. Like, my man took off his name tag and his tie. And I was like, oh, well, here it comes. 2 old guys fighting. Let's back it up.
But wait a second. Why would you say you don't even know if he's alive?
Because he was, this was almost 20 years ago now, and he was in his 70s then. So I doubt. I mean, if he's still alive, good for him. But nice guy, but he's just zero respect for anybody that wasn't him.
Yeah, but this person tells me like these people will be like, "Well, I'm going to call the owner." Okay, go ahead. Like I don't like what the owner made the rules, and he expects me to enforce them. Like follow them. So what's the problem? I
Yeah,
don't
but
like it.
I
It's
mean,
entitled.
there's so many people that just have gotten away with doing that, that now that it's just like the norm. I can't tell you how many times, like, during COVID, when, I was wearing a mask, people were complaining that they didn't like the way we were looking at people,
Oh,
our eyes.
gosh,
Yeah.
that's one thing we did. There was a point that I thought I could tell based on people's eyes. I can tell you're smiling. I can tell you're a jerk. But I don't know if I was right or dead wrong. But also,
Yeah.
that's weird to
Right.
complain about
Right.
that.
And there was more than one complaint about that. And we were all just like, what do you want us to do? Like, do you want me to wear like eye makeup that makes me look nicer? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of have RBF anyway when I'm at
So
work. So it's like,
what kind
whatever.
of color do you put on your eyes? Like what kind of liner?
I just, it's
Is it
mostly,
like
I just,
the
sh- I just,
little black line with a little blue shadow?
yeah, I do cat eyes for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like it. Sounds like white girls named Debbie that date Mexican guys. What?
Oh, nothing.
With
That was
leather
a,
belts and long hair and the part down the middle. What's
nah,
up?
dude. Like, I just appreciate the deep callback with that white girl's named Debbie, huh?
I guess. Never know. But people complain about the smallest thing, like service workers, and I don't mean small as in insignificant. I just mean they're smaller than the company, right?
Right.
But then the same people don't complain about T-Mobile sucking. Or first of all, why is T-Mobile's colors the color of a vulva? Anyway, but my point is, but they don't complain about TikTok spying on them. They don't complain about Google spying and manipulating search results.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, that's a big deal. And I bring this up to say is the Department of Justice wants to break them up, which is my wet dream. But they manipulate search results. It's not that they own the market because they earned the market because their search was
Right.
better for many years.
Yeah. And now it's
But
garbage.
now it's garbage, but they manipulate. Can you imagine you find a political claim during election season? You're like, oh, let me see what that was about. Is that true? No way. You go to search and Google, who is quote openly admitted left wing. They openly say so. They're not hiding it. So kudos to them for saying that. Yeah, we're left. Okay, fine. But all your search results are skewed that way when that may be true or not true. I don't like that. That's very manipulative. And they were found to have that an illegal monopoly on search ads and all the same thing that they complain about Apple to that.
Yeah. Well,
I hope they get broken up.
and their AI, I mean, I don't use Google search engine. It's been garbage for years, but now I guess that now everything's just like AI generated, where it's people are like, I just want a recipe for like, some kind of cake or pie or whatever. And it's like just nonstop ads.
Yeah, it is. It's see, here's the thing: search the way it is that everyone knows it
Yeah.
is going to be dead because you know how it is. You search a lemon pie recipe, and then you get a list of 10 to 15 websites that have lemon pie recipes. Now you need to go click them all and see which one you like best and that one you're going to cook. But now search engines are going to be AI. Lemon pie recipe. Boom, there's the recipe. There's
Yeah.
nothing for you to click. You can click some stuff later on, but it's really cool to look up things like what year was it that Napoleon Bonaparte did this? It doesn't just give you a bunch of pages of Wikipedia to read. You boom, Napoleon
Yeah.
Bonaparte attacked that company and that country on this date, blah blah blah, resulted in you're like, okay, there's a the lowdown. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want it thinking for me.
Yeah. No.
But I do like that I do like that the AI took your search query, went and read all those websites about it, and then came back and said, "Here's the answer."
Yeah. Like, that's the kind of machine learning AI that I want. Like, I don't want Skynet. I just want an
Yeah.
easier recipe. You know what I
I
mean?
don't.
Like, I don't,
Speaking of Skynet, your boy Elon Musk.
oh God, did you see that?
First of all, those weren't real robots,
Nope. They were remotely controlled.
dude. No, I'm not kidding. I don't even know. Is SpaceX publicly traded? I know Tesla is.
I don't, I,
But my point is, if they're publicly traded, are you scamming investors? Are you scamming? I mean, it seems like you can't fake something if you're public. You can fake it if you're not publicly traded. You're
Right.
allowed to, but people are going to invest in you or not invest you based on what they just seen.
Right. Well, and it was crazy because, like, as soon as I saw like the robots, I was like, okay, that's, terrifying or whatever. But then when I heard like, oh, you can interact with them and talk with them, I heard the voices. I was like, there's no way that's AI. There's no way, because there was too much human interaction and too many things going on. And then of course, it came out that, oh, these are, partially controlled by someone on a remote system. And all the people, all the fanboys that were just like, gushing over Elon Musk are like, well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't real, but it was still cool. No, it was fake. Like none of that worked.
It wasn't real.
None of it worked. Like
Disney animatronics are more real than that.
Right, exactly. And it was just the gymnastics these people were doing to try to.
It's very strange, right?
Dude, it was so weird. I'm like, he didn't show you anything. Okay, so he built some humanoid robots. Like Boston Dynamics has been doing the same thing forever. You know what I mean?
First of all, screw that company. Screw that company.
Those ones are actually more terrifying because they already
You've seen the dogs with the machine guns on the back?
Yeah, I was literally about to say, yeah. And all like the drones that they have, that it's like you can mount a 50 cal. Sick. That's terrifying.
Well, did you see the humanoid robots that they have that can grab a handgun with their fingers and fire it, cock it back, shoot it, unload it, and then there's one where they're shooting bean bags at it, right? These big, heavy bean bags. And so it's you can see it stumble a little bit like it's getting hit, but it never breaks the concentration. It never fails to load another clip. And it does it so fast.
Yeah.
And there's a video with a handgun and a clip for a human, a marksman shooter, and then this robot. And then they go, and it fires. I'm like, oh my God, we're screwed.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because that person was one of the better shooters that we can have. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, if you can just have a robot that already beats the best, that's a very big problem.
This is insane. This is insane.
Well, did you see, I guess it was the designer from iRobot, like called out Elon Musk. He's like, hey, can you at least credit my designs? Because that stupid little bus he made in that car that's not even going to work. Like they legit called him out. And I was like, oh, he invented a bus. Great. We already have those.
Yeah, we have those. But also that design wasn't like brilliance. I mean, we've all seen those same generic futuristic things. Here's the Ford and here's the Hyundai and here's the Mercedes for 2040. Yeah, you guys all got those dorky looking big, huge curves and big, large windows.
Well, it's like
they're all the same, and you're all just guessing.
Well, and it's like Art Deco meets like Blade Runner, and I'm like, and that's exactly what it was.
Art Deco, by the way, I can't stand it.
I'm not a fan of it either. And it was one of the funnier comments was like, "That's a great design. How's it going to get over a speed bump?" You know what I mean? Because it's so low to the ground. Low. Yeah. So I mean that whole like, look how cool I am, like cyber flex or whatever he was trying to do there was just so weird. And then I saw somebody who was like, whoa, we need high-speed rail next, Elon. It's like, yeah, we tried it in California and you killed it with your dumb Hyperloop crap. Like, stop. Like,
well, here's the thing too. I am so sick of that high-speed train argument. For certain parts, Boston to DC, LA to San Francisco, that makes sense. But you're not going to have high-speed trains all across the country that expands 3,000 miles. Because Europe does it. Yeah, but you're going 140 miles to this city, 81 miles to that city. It is a different thing. Plus, you don't have to go through the Rockies. You don't have to go through, you can go around the Alps over there, but you got to go through the Rockies here. You got to go through deserts. Like this is not a thing here. But that's why our trains are for freights here. What we need is power efficient cars. We're not going to stop driving. We drive here like it's no big deal, right? You could drive from San Francisco to LA, 4.5-ish hours.
Without traffic.
My British friend will freak out about that. He can't stand it. But guess what? That's nothing for us. We drive here.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
to us, driving
just the expanses.
We just drove from one city to the other. Now, that would be the width of their country. So that mentalness of that, like I've driven the width of this country.
Same.
several times. And guess what? Now it seems like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a long trip.
Yeah.
But they can never fathom that driving the width of Europe, which is roughly the same 3,000 miles. So we're not going to get those trains. We need better cars. And why
Yeah.
don't we have better electric cars when we had battery operated cars in the early 1900s that went 75 miles on a charge or on a crank? What's the problem?
I don't know. You know, I guess Elon's doing too much ketamine and I can't
Well,
really
no,
dial that one in.
I would really say it's, freedom oil.
Well, I mean, yeah,
It has
of course,
to. Again, it has
that
to.
too.
It's the same reason, with, hemp paper and all that stuff. It's like, because you owned a grove of trees, now we can't use hemp paper.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
lame.
like that's factually correct. Like,
But no, the dude owned all the newspapers in the world.
yeah, oh yeah,
And the forests.
yep, and then blame
I wonder.
and then blame black people and Mexicans in Congress on record, and hence cannabis prohibition for years and years and years.
But it's crazy because it's like, what a coincidence. There could possibly be no conflict of interest
Yeah,
there.
why would there be a vested interest in not letting something that produces 10 times the amount of stuff that I do for half the resources? That's weird.
And it's renewable. Quicker.
Here's a bunch of money to make sure that never happens.
You know,
Gotta
I
hate
used to have
lobbyists.
I used to have a hemp t-shirt in the 90s. And the thing lasted forever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a special thing or not. It's the only one I ever owned in my life. But I remember this T-shirt didn't like shrink and get all weird, like cotton does and all that stuff. And I'm like, why? I always remember though as it was just quality. And I'm just like, why can't we have that?
Yeah.
It's like I'm not going to smoke my T-shirt, clearly. So, but why can't I have that quality material?
Yeah. Well,
Why not? Because it lasts.
big money.
That's where Saturn cars. They went out of business.
God, I forgot about them.
The president of Saturn said, because people were like, why is, when GM was having all those problems in 2008 or whatever, why are they closing down Saturn? Those cars have no problems. And the guy in Congress is like, that's the problem, Senator. There's no parts for these. They don't break down.
No, planned obsolescence or obsolescence, whatever.
They don't break. See, that's a myth too. They don't break down. Meaning these cars run good for long periods of time. They don't break.
Yeah,
Not enough. So there's no money in it. They make more money in parts. They want you to get the car and make parts. Now that planned obsolescence, that's BS.
Nah,
Because
I don't think for
it's
some
technology. Like when people say that with phones, like there's weirdos. Every time a phone update comes out, oh, suddenly my phone's dying. No, it's not. You're stupid, actually. You're a stupid person. Your phone is working fine. You're stupid. That's the only excuse. It's like I can't delve into it anymore with these people. Apple, Samsung, even Google, they don't want to make a product that dies. They can't. Because that would be so evident they'd be out of business.
I mean,
And then they don't want it to die when they say this phone comes with 7 years of software updates.
right.
That's clearly how long it's supposed to last.
Yeah. I mean, with in regards to that, like the thing that I take away from that where I'm like, it might be a thing is like 1200 turntables, right? I loved my techs and I had them. I mean, I still have them. They need to be repaired because the transformers blew on them, but those things are tanks. Like you could toss them off a roof and they would still work. And in the years that I had 1200s, I got new marks that I loved, but they just didn't last. You know what I mean? And now I'm on to Reloop, which they're good and they're super OEM. So they're basically the same as a 12, but they're not the same build. And it's the same thing with MPCs, you know what I mean? In different production gear where it's just like, you can tell they skimped on some of the products that they were using. So, they're not going to last the same way a turntable from 1975 is, still putting in hours.
See, but that's different than, Apple makes all the phones die the month before the new phones come out. Yeah, because nobody would notice that.
Right. And I mean, I don't think it's, pertains to Apple because, I still have a MacBook Pro from 2013 that, it doesn't get updates anymore, but I mean, it still works. I still use it as a second computer in my lab. Like
I seen recently on Reddit when the iPhone 16 was coming out and this guy had the iPhone 13, which is what I have. And he's like, my battery only lasts about till noon. And people are like, oh, well, how long have you had it? Oh, I got it on launch day. So that's a 3-year-old phone. Have you ever replaced the battery? No. So it's a 3-year-old battery. It's like tires. The treads run out.
Yeah.
So then they were like, what's your health? His health was like 71%, which is way low.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, dude. they just want me to spend $1,500, or you can go spend $89 on the battery
And get
and
a new
shut
battery.
up.
Yeah.
And shut up.
Yeah. No,
I don't get that either. My battery doesn't last as good as it used to. I know it's a battery. It goes away. Tires, they go away. Like what do you like? What?
yeah. I mean, people just expect miracles, I guess. And I mean, even with that, like Apple is so beyond reproach when it comes to like the quality of their builds and
No,
product that like
yeah.
you can't say that. Like, okay, did your phone get throttled? Who knows? Is it broken? No, it'll
So
last forever.
their phone, because they're not perfect. I mean, it's a company run by
Right.
human beings. Human beings are flawed, but they're not perfect. But their quality is above and beyond anyone else. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, you listen, you get what you pay for. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So like
and
I'm
it's
totally
cheaper.
fine. Yeah,
It's
in the long
cheaper.
run, absolutely.
It's
Like
cheaper.
you're gonna pay more upfront, but it's like, when I bought my MacBook in 2013, I was like, oh, that's a big hit. But I mean, that literally lasted until it just could not update anymore for the new gear that I bought for my studio. So,
Yeah.
it was one of those things where I was like, well, it still works. I still have all my programs on there. It's still a beast, you know what I mean? It was just, okay, well, it's time to upgrade because my
But now
new mixer.
consider if you were like a normal user. Like
Yeah.
we both have our special programs and apps on our
Yeah.
devices. But imagine if you're just a user who's like, I just use it to send emails to my family and check Facebook.
Yeah.
That thing's still going.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean,
That's
if
cheaper.
you don't need certain things to update, then yeah, just like I said, had my new mixer worked with my old MacBook, I wouldn't have bought a new MacBook until I absolutely needed it. But I didn't do my due diligence, and I was like, oh, this isn't going to work with anything. So I was like, well, guess we're getting a new MacBook, and I love it.
Yeah, no, but they're great. They're quality product, but they're not perfect. They did throttle phones, but they didn't. And here's what I say by that. So when a battery gets to 80%, this is not exclusive to Apple. It's how technology works. Google, Samsung, Windows. When your battery gets to 80%, at one point they're like, all right. So that the user experience doesn't suck entire balls for the person, we're going to slow down the CPU a little bit. Usually enough where you can't tell, but enough to help the battery last a little longer during the day. And someone found out and said, oh, Apple's scammers. And I'm like, literally, that's a setting like on Windows laptops at the time. Like
Yeah,
you could have disabled it. The thing is, I guess Apple didn't announce it, but no one did. That's what happens.
yeah,
That's why when your phone just on a normal day gets low to 20% or lower, it'll start slowing down on purpose too. But now they put a big yellow banner and call it low power mode, and because you
yeah,
guys are stupid. And people, limiting I'm not going to charge my phone. I only charge it from 20% to 80% every day. You're a dork. You bought it, and now you're not going to use it. Just use it. Just use your phone. And when it's time to get a new battery in 2 years, pay the less than $100, get
yeah,
a new battery, and that phone now lasts it's supposed to be 7 years, so it's got another 5 years. What's the problem?
yeah. I don't know.
We don't need to
So
buy things every year.
no, I like, and I really like the fact that Apple is getting away from doing
I love it.
releases every year because it's pointless. You know what I mean? Like Apple's not going to lose market share. You know what I mean? Apple's not going anywhere. So
No.
doing that, less cobalt, less terrible things to get that.
And
So
everyone will follow them.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean,
It makes sense.
and that's less refuse, like less digital crap that has to be thrown away or tried to recycle, and less lithium ion batteries, which is good for everybody. So yeah,
Everybody's going to complain about it, though. They'll complain
Well, let
about
them.
it.
I mean, they're
But
going to
these are the
complain
same
about
people.
anything.
These are the same people complaining. The iPhone looks the same as last year, and then there's now leaks for the Galaxy S25. It looks just like the 24. What do you want them to change?
Yeah, I mean, it's a phone.
But no. Apple, and Samsung apparently hit their stride with what these phones are supposed to be and what they're supposed to look
Yeah.
like. So
Well,
those are a success. If those are such a success, would you be so eager to change it every year?
No, and
No.
the one thing that I did, like a couple of people I work with have them. They have those Samsungs that are like a dual flip phone.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
can't
like,
do that.
why? Like, I mean, the one dude I know games on it, so like that's kind of cool because you get a bigger screen or whatever. I
I guess,
guess.
or whatever.
I mean, he has a Steam Deck too, so I'm like, dude, why? Just play one or
Yeah.
the other. And I just they're bulky, they're ugly. Like I don't
I don't
want
like 'em.
that. Like, and you can see the crease in the middle. It's just like, that's not like, I'm not watching full movies on my phone. I mean, if I am on a plane and okay, that's fine. That works for me. It's, 3, 4 hours, whatever, I'm done. But I just don't understand look how cool I am. I have a phone that's a tablet. Dude, you look like you're walking around with an
Yeah, I don't
iPad.
like
It's
them.
so lame.
And they're fragile.
Yeah, yep. My dude broke his like 2 weeks before his warranty expired, so we got a new one.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yeah, hard pass still.
Yeah, I don't care. And I kind of feel like there's a reason Apple hasn't put one out. You can't tell me they don't have one in a lab somewhere.
Oh, I'm
Clearly,
sure. And it
they probably
probably
have,
did terrible in testing. They were like,
they
nah,
probably
we're
did
not doing
50 of
this.
them,
Yeah.
But again, and then people say the dust gets under the screen where the crease is, and I don't know, whatever. But how are they? There's no planned obsolescence. There's obsolescence. I can't talk.
Neither
There's
can I.
there's
It's fine.
there's no throttling. They're not. That's how computer. It's just most of the loud people don't know because they're idiots. And then it's like these tech YouTubers, they don't know. They're the ones that get on there and go, I'm switching from my iPhone to my Android. Longtime user switches. No one cares, dude.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so
Review you're out of video ideas. Review the tech.
yeah.
Even
Well,
Marquez Brownlee, he's not even reviewing things anymore. He'll get on and go, here's the all new iPhone 16 Plus. Here it is. Boopity boop. I'm like, when that's not a review. It has this in it. And he's like impressing you, like, has a 2 nanometer chip, system on a chip. And what?
like also nobody that's watching a review really cares about that
Not the
unless
consumer?
right, exactly. Like unless you're like really nerdy into that type of stuff, like just show me how it works. Show me
Yeah.
the highlights. I don't like if I'm looking for technical specs, I'm probably just going to go to the website and look for the technical
Yeah,
specs
but
like a
then there's
normal
people that do
person would do.
battery tests. We got the 8 brand new phones from the past 4 months. We're going to do a battery test. So here's what I did. I turned off Wi-Fi. I turned the screens all the way to brightness. And then I'm like, but how, what, that's a battery test? It's some weird controlled environment. That means nothing. That's not even a test of how any of those phones are designed to be used.
Yeah.
That's not how people use their phones. This is a battery test to me. Did you unplug it in the morning and then you had enough battery until you went to bed and plugged it in to go to sleep? Yeah, cool. It lasts all day. Next,
Yeah.
right? What else do you
Yeah.
want?
Yeah, it's like you're making up these scenarios that would never happen to see how fast the battery drain. It's like, yeah, if you crank it up to 11 for everything and make it as least optimized as you possibly can, yeah, you're gonna get weird reactions because it's not
Yeah.
designed for that, dummy.
Yeah, because that's what it is. They'll disable all these things. They'll be, boy, it lasted an impressive 18 hours.
Look, I redlined this car and blew up the engine for
Yeah.
5 hours. It's like, yeah, because you're not supposed to do that, genius.
Or they measure the chip benchmarks. So that when they just came
Ugh.
out with
I don't even know what that means, and I hate it already.
it's just the speeds it can reach and the power it can reach, the chips. And when 18.0.1 came out, someone posted on Twitter, the benchmarks went down for the iPhone 12 with 18.0.1. How much longer is Apple going to get away with throttling these phones? What, dude? First of all, dork, you update this was literally too like 45 minutes after the software update was released, meaning you updated that instant, and now your phone has to index and stuff. Like it's still just because it's on and you could touch it, it's still
Yeah.
installing in the background. It's still updating and finishing, and they'll tell you
Yeah.
that it'll be done when you go to bed. You'll plug it in, then it'll finish itself. But I'm also you're judging it when it's doing that. But also, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It didn't get slower, and the numbers were so tiny. I'm like, that's not a human brain ever noticeable. Like these people, this phone has a 60 hertz refresh. This one has a 120.
No, I don't care.
You have to have a very specific type of astigmatism to be affected by that, to actually notice, unless you're like gaming, like a hardcore gamer. Those games will
Yeah.
refresh quicker and better. Most people aren't doing that on a phone, hardcore gaming. That's just true. And most mobile games are optimized for mobile devices, meaning they're
Right.
not going to ever do that. They're never going to. So, okay. And then I saw a video where the guy took a 60 hertz one and a 120, puts them next to each other on camera, and then flicks through the menus real fast back and forth. Like, I'm like, that one stuttered a little. I'm like, what? Again,
Yeah, no one's checking for that, like a refresh rate on a phone. I mean, cool, great that I know the spec is there, but like, are you really going to notice it? I mean, you barely notice that type of thing on like a giant TV. You know what I mean? So,
well,
like, are you really going to care about if it's on your phone?
again,
No.
you don't notice it on a giant TV because one, movies aren't in 120.
Right.
But on top of that, unless you're a
I'm
hardcore
gaming.
gamer.
Right.
But
That's
even so, if that's the case, you're on a Windows PC.
yeah.
You have a custom rig. You are not, nor should you expect that. But anyway, they like to repeat those, and then the tech YouTubers repeat it, and they're all dumb. They're all stupid. Or I'm going to review these watches. So I tested 8 watches. There were 8 watches on my arm for 2 weeks. I don't really care, dude, because I'm going to tell you the one that's worn on your wrist in the appropriate place probably does a lot better than the one worn up towards your elbow in the place it's not meant to be. Right? How is that a fair
Yeah.
comparison?
It's
It's
not.
lame. I know. It's lame. It's as lame as Garmin trying to charge you $1,200 for a watch,
That's insane.
which
That's
again, they look cool. But the point
I'm
is,
sure they do, but 1,200
they have
bucks?
these features.
No.
Hey, user, you got a text message on your phone. Go look at your phone and see it. Don't, no,
No.
just no. I don't care. But again, two different things. That's the problem when you try to be both things. You're either a hardcore fitness tracker, sports watch type of thing for getting lost, which is where you should put on a Garmin watch. If you're going to go
Right.
out that far,
Like
put it
ultra
on. Don't be
marathoners and stuff. Yeah.
even if you're the guy, I'm going to hike 20 days into the woods. Cool, you
Right.
better put on a Garmin. Don't be dumb. But if you're a guy who works out every day and you like to quickly say, I don't want that message, I don't want that call or whatever on your phone, get a regular Galaxy watch or a regular Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Two
I
different
mean,
things.
that's crazy for 1,200 bucks though. Like
And I don't
that's
see them as, I don't see them as smartwatches. And they're two different things. One's a smartwatch, one's a fitness tracker.
right.
The Apple Watch and the Galaxy Watches happen to have, they're smartwatches with fitness things built in.
Right.
But they are not Garmin. They're going to lose that. Then you say that this battery can last 58 days. Well, yeah, look
Great.
how stupid that screen looks though.
Yeah.
It's black and white, it's faded on purpose because it's got to, and then it's got a massive solar thing around it. Yeah, because you're supposed to be out in the wilderness, but you're walking around, San Francisco with it, dork.
Yeah. Hard pass.
Why does your hardcore rugged Garmin watch look pristine and it's like 3 years old?
Yeah.
Don't you go on adventures, loser? Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a weird flex. And like, I think that's such a niche market for, like the hardcore, like I'm going to go like, backpack the Appalachian Trail or something like that. Like, okay, fine, sure. But like you said,
Sure.
if you're just walking around, why in God's name would you want that? Like
I go
I
to
work
the
with someone
gym.
that has one and, she's like, oh, it's because I go out and kayak and do this and do that. And I'm like, I mean, you could still do that with an Apple Watch. You know what I mean? Like,
Or a Galaxy Watch because you're not
Yeah.
kayaking for weeks.
right.
Or
Yeah.
day you're
So,
going kayaking for the afternoon. Also,
Right.
this whole Galaxy Watches and Apple Watches, they need to be charged once a day.
yeah.
Okay? Like, I don't get that neither. Okay?
So
and-
what? So is your phone like,
So,
like,
but
so
okay,
what?
so I wear mine to sleep, to track sleep and different
Yeah.
things, from the heart attack and all that
Sure.
stuff. When I get up in the morning, I take it off, I charge it, get ready for the day. I'm done getting ready. I put it on and I'm done for the next day. I don't
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, me neither. Like I've been using mine, my phone, my watch keeps being like, you should get up. I'm like, this ableism will not stand. I'm like, I literally can't
I'll tell you
stand
what,
genius.
I had to turn all those off when I got back from the hospital
Well,
because,
I did now because
I
I was
couldn't.
just like, it was like, get up. I was like,
but I will tell you,
get out of here with this shit.
I'm back to my old goals for my rings from the
That's
day
great.
before the heart attack.
That's
Which
wild.
I hit that the other day and I was like, you know what? I was thrilled. So yeah, I'll tell you what though, the Apple Watch is a hell of a motivator. As simple as those stupid rings are that say, close the ring. You're like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna go do that because it'll say to you, hey, you're doing a great job on your rings. A quick 7-minute brisk walk will close them, and you're like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'll get up and not be lazy. And now we're out of time. Like we got less than 30 seconds, and we don't get to talk about Exhibit being a Scientologist
Oof.
or Redman. And I want to talk about the new Redman album next week.
Same.
Same.
stoked.
Stop copying me.
Okay, stop copying me.
You stop copying me.
You stop
Nope,
out copying
stop
me.
copying me. I knew
No.
you were going to say that because you're racist. That's the last time. That's the last time we reenact Step Brothers.
Might be, might not.